Mankind, throughout its existence, has produced both amazing and unknown people. Although it is nearly always the amazing characters that receive accolades, it is the unknown ones that can sometimes receive more attention overall because of their disadvantages in life. In the case of Jim Callahan, the fine line between the amazing and unknown, genius and insanity, appears to have been crossed. Jim is an intellectual giant and was always at the top of his class, and that can actually be taken literally because his classmates used to hang him by his underwear on the ceiling. A boy meant to be socially incompatible, Jim was admired by teachers, despised by children, and tolerated by his parents.
Well, Jim was always different. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just that with kids, parents would generally like them to like normal things, like football or hockey. Heck, with Jim, I'd even take academic team.
Well, tell me, what happened to his mother?
Well, she was never a caring and accepting person. First sight of Jim, she walked out that hospital door and was never seen again.
Doug, Jim's father, was an all-star quarterback for the New England Patriots, headed for success until he broke his leg mid-season. When the doctors learned it was much worse, his days of football were officially over. Many fans were excited to see what his son would be like, but were bitterly disappointed when they saw young Jim. So, you actually saw the bullying that Jim received at the hands of his classmates?
Oh yeah, he was bullied nearly every day. It was sometimes in the classroom with the teacher right there.
Wow.
Yeah, but he was pretty smug, so I can see how he could get annoying.
Yeah. So, tell me, did any of the kids bully Jim, say, more than the others did?
Oh yeah. There's this kid, his name was Alan. Oh, this kid was a jack. He was the greatest kid in the class. I mean, he was so talented and he was athletic. He could throw a football 50 yards away into a donut hole. Like, through a donut hole.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, that's talent right there.
Yeah.
Jim doesn't even compare to that.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, why, oh, why did I have Jim instead of this kid? You know? Like,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I knew at that moment that it was my obligation to meet Alan. So, how exactly did you know Jim?
Well, I was his bully. I would beat him up once, twice a day, so I wouldn't get too cocky about his brains or anything. You know, in a way, he's actually kind of stupid. I mean, every time I'd beat him up, he'd give me a lip like, you know, you think you've won, but then I'd just go beat him up again. You'd think he would get it by then, but he just never did.
Yeah. You know, what I'm kind of wondering is, why did you beat him up every day? I mean, you said earlier in our interview that he had no friends, so did you think that by beating him up, he would get more friends that way?
Exactly, someone finally understands. But he just never seemed to appreciate it. For instance, one day he came up to me and said,
"You are a grotesque imbecile."
I had no idea what that meant, so I punched him in the face. Everyone started laughing, but instead of thanking me for the attention, he just ignored me. It was kind of like hazing, but I guess he never learned anything from it. So I guess it's still his fault that he doesn't have any friends.
Well, you tried your best to give him friends. I mean, no one can ask any more of you than that. And after my encounter with Alan and all of my strenuous research, I was certain that I was ready to meet the legend himself, Jim. Jim, it is truly a pleasure to meet you.
I know.
I hated him already. So, from what I hear, you currently go to MIT and are the valedictorian there.
Oh yeah. I love it there. There's so many unique opportunities.
Yeah, okay. So, do you have a lot of friends?
Talk to a lot of people.
Uh-huh. That's great. And rounding to the nearest 10, how many friends would you say you have?
0, I guess.
And who's your best friend?
I just said I didn't have any friends.
How silly me, I forgot already. So, also apparently, you solved the binomial theorem at age 5, which would make you not only a genius, but a prodigy as well.
Oh yeah, that was kind of a good one. I actually received many awards for that one.
Yeah, that's great. So, because you solved this theorem, do you think that that makes you better than the rest of us?
Well, yeah.
I'm done with this. I am so done with this. Stupid. The real question that remains is whether or not a person can be a genius and insane at the same time. In the case of Jim Callahan, the answer is quite simple. Yes. And why? The reason is that there are always different kinds of intelligence. There are people that can compose a symphony in minutes. There are even people, though few, that can read the Scarlet Letter without even glancing at Spark Notes. Obviously, these people are not insane, except perhaps the Scarlet Letter person, but young Jim lacked the most basic survival skill that most nerds acquire at a young age. If there's a fight involving you, run away. So it appears that the mind of the beholder holds the difference between genius and insanity.